right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with Luke, the Diamond Dolly. How we doing, my man?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So, Luke, talk to us a little bit more about your last performance and maybe what's next for you, man.
So I fought on Eternal 84 in Sydney just this past weekend. It was my fourth professional fight against a guy named Jordan Thomas. He was out of Sydney West Martial Arts, and he was his record. He was better than his record said. He had a good amateur record, fought some good guys, and beat some good guys. Was coming off 2 losses, unfortunately. But he took the fight on 4 weeks' notice, I believe, just because I had to pull out and he was looking for an opponent. So they offered and he took the fight, and I accepted straight away, obviously. He came out hot, swinging and banging, looking to get the finish early. But I weathered the storm and ended up getting a twister finish. It was the first twister finish on the Eternal promotion.
I was just about to ask about that twister, man. Yeah, with that being said, man, what was it like to kind of make history there with getting that first twister with Eternal?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It kind of took a couple of days, I feel like, to actually register. Like, obviously, to begin with, I was just happy to get the win and happy to get the finish. But it wasn't until I started getting a few messages and things like that from guys like yourself and getting the recognition. I think that's when it started to hit. Like, it's actually a pretty big deal getting a twister finish in MMA.
Yeah, no, 100%. Now, speaking of that, just out of curiosity, I'm friends with Benny P. Was he your first ever interview?
I did one like years ago, back when I was an amateur.
Okay.
But in recent memory, definitely. Like, I don't think I did one before that. Yeah.
So would this technically be your first American interview then?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. I didn't even realize that. That's really, really cool. Very nice. Very nice. Now, with that being said, man, your elbows are some of your best weapons in your fights. Talk to us a little bit more about those elbows, man.
Yeah, it didn't. It kind of just kind of fell into place. Like, I never really thought that would be such a big weapon. Just obviously with looking after your trainer partners, it's not like you're throwing elbows all the time. Especially without like elbow pads and stuff, which I didn't really use up until recently. So even in my debut, which I obviously unfortunately lost, but even in my debut, that was when I probably used them the most and landed some good elbows. But yeah, they've definitely been a good weapon throughout my professional career now, and even in this past fight, landed a couple of nice ones on the feet, and then took him down, and they were the biggest weapon that I utilised in the ground and pound, just with hand fighting and stuff. And with a guy like that with such long limbs, he's trying to set up triangles and stuff. So just in the way that the pummeling was happening, I was finding the openings for the elbows.
Yeah, no, 100%. You definitely were. And another thing too, I'm curious about. I mean, who do you think are some of your best training partners that maybe push you to be the best version of you?
Definitely Harry Webb. He's my main training partner at the moment. Just because of size, we're very similar in size and experience and stuff, and we've been training for like consistently with each other for about 6 years, and pretty much that are really good, and they're up and coming, but we're the only 2 professionals in the gym. So we do pretty much all of our training exclusively together. So he's definitely and obviously he's having a lot of success himself. He's in my opinion the number 1 pound for pound guy. He just beat the number 1 pound for pound guy. So training with someone like that, it's I kind of have to rise to that level, and he'll say the same thing. We just keep rising to each other's level, and we kind of complement each other with our skill sets. It's where one of us might be lacking. Not that I believe we are, but it's like even if there is any weaknesses, it's like the other one's going to capitalize on them, and we're just going to improve and adapt to each other.
Yeah, no, very nice. And with that being said, what's maybe some of your favorite memories in the gym?
Favorite memories? Damn, that's a good question. Besides obviously wins in the fights, it's too many to pick from, I guess. I don't know about any specific times. I just love the banter that we have in the gym, like especially in recent times where we've got quite a good crew going at the moment, and yeah, the banter around the gym's just like with the banter we have around the gym, we could honestly start a podcast with the banter that goes on. Like there's some gold moments that you'd love to have recorded. Yeah, I don't know about anything specific in the gym. Not that comes to memory, not that comes to mind like instantly. But yeah, obviously all the wins that we're getting recently, that's obviously some special moments. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, no,
In
100%.
recent memory, actually, like now that I think about it, probably obviously getting my brown belt off my coach. A very he's very hard to get promoted off. He's very picky with who he promotes. He even if you're a killer, it's like if you're not showing up consistently, he's very hard to get a promotion off. So yeah, to get my brown belt off him was pretty special.
Wow. Okay. So with that being said, I mean, what do you kind of have to do at your gym to kind of go from one belt level to another in your jiu-jitsu system?
Yeah, so I think a lot of gyms do like specific grading processes. So they go through and they have like a specific day where they do gradings. We do that for our up and comers, like a beginners, intermediates, and at the beginning of our advanced classes. But once we get to blue belt and above, it's kind of more through winning competitions. So say you're a blue belt and you're winning competitions left, right, and center as a blue belt, then it's obviously you're ready for the next belt. So I guess we show that we're ready for the next belt by through winning competitions.
Yeah. No,
My-
that definitely makes sense. Now, another thing I was curious about as well too. You mentioned you tried to join the army, I believe, at 7 years old. Can you talk to us a little bit more about your passion for the army?
Yeah, so ever since I was a kid, probably that I can remember, probably since I was probably 12, 13 even. It obviously stemmed from being a kid and loving like first person shooters, obviously glorified it a bit. But yeah, once I got older, I definitely had an interest in joining. Um, so once I turned 17, I went through most of the process. So I went through to assessment interviews and psych assessments and things like that. And basically, because I was still a young kid, I hadn't really lived out of home. So the the assessment interview I had with a guy that was in the army, and he wanted to put me through, but the psych assessment said otherwise. Like the person that took me through the psych assessment, just didn't think that I'd had enough life experience. Was her wording. Just because I hadn't lived out of home, and some of the things that I said, they kind of take what they want out of it and take it in a certain way to make it seem like however they want, that doesn't look good. But yeah, it was basically just I was too young and too immature, I guess. So they sent me away, and they were like, "Oh, just live at home for a while and just get some fitness behind you and come back." So I went back home, and I was literally just looking up like kickboxing, boxing, because it was always something I was interested in, like combat sports. I loved watching um, the UFC and stuff like that on TV. So I was always like somewhat interested in it. So yeah, it was just looking up kickboxing and boxing gyms, and happened to stumble across Infinite MMA. And I guess the rest is history. I started up with my brother. He unfortunately obviously had other commitments with family and things like that, so he couldn't commit quite as much as I could. And at first, still probably for the first 6 months, didn't have any intentions of competing. I didn't think that I could take it anywhere. But it wasn't until my coach came up to me, and all he asked was if I had any interest in competing, and I was just like, "Nah, I'm just doing this for a bit of fitness. Want to join the army." And his words exactly were, "Fuck the army, start fighting, and you'll end up driving Hummers around." So yeah, he obviously saw some potential in me, and somewhat pushed me into it. Like he it wasn't so much he pushed me into it. He was just very supportive of it, and was kind of leading me in the direction of at least giving it a shot. And as soon as I started competing, I loved it. And that feeling of especially winning a fight like in front of your friends and family and stuff. It's with massive consequences behind it. It's you can't really compete with that high. So yeah, I fell in love with it and continued with it.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I'm glad you're continuing with it, man, because you're definitely looking good with it. And with that being said, man, I've never been to Australia before. What's maybe some cool things about Australia?
Oh, what's not to love about Australia, man? I think generally it's just the people. Like I think for the most part, anyway. Obviously, you get the bad seeds wherever you go, but I think for the most part, the people are just so chill, so happy to just um, welcome new people. Yeah, not sure specifically what you could do. Like, I'm not a very like I don't really go out and do too much. I'm a pretty introverted person, but yeah, I think for the most part, just the people are pretty awesome here. So it's pretty easy to meet new people and get along with everyone.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And with that being said, too, I mean, just out of curiosity, I mean, what time is it? What day is it for you right now?
It's Thursday and it's 11:38 p.m.
That's crazy. Okay, so then for me, it's yeah, so we're also looking at the same thing. So I am at Thursday at 9:38 in the morning. It's crazy. Just for everybody out there. Yeah, that's definitely wild to think about. And yeah, man, with that being said too, you mentioned you're kind of like an introvert. You don't really do too much, but like, outside of the cage, I mean, is there anything you do like to do that's maybe exciting that maybe the fight fans don't know about?
I love a bit of gaming. Like a good first person shooter. Um, Obviously, when I'm in camp, that kind of takes a back step a little bit. But yeah, because I got a little boy at the moment, so he's almost 2. So I guess he takes up a lot of my free time, which obviously is awesome. Um, yeah, besides that, I've recently taken a liking to a bit of rock climbing, like bouldering and stuff like that. So I kind of enjoy that. Uh, yeah, that's probably about it. Yeah, watch fights, play games, and I kind of swap and change between little hobbies that I have. But at the moment, yeah, it's kind of a bit of bouldering and gaming. Yeah.
Okay. So when you do rock climbing, do you happen to do that at for your fight camps or anything like that? Because I've heard other fighters say they do that for like their grip strength and stuff.
Yeah, I've done it in camp before, but I generally pull up pretty sore, like in terms of my forearms and stuff, and it obviously destroys your skin. And I'm super competitive, so I go a bit hard and usually tear up the skin on my fingers and my forearms are sore for ages. So I generally like to hold off on doing it until I'm outside of camp and I can freely do it and not have to worry about being sore for training the next day.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. And man, getting back to Australia, I mean, do you happen to watch any striking film on these kangaroos? I mean, it looks like they have some hands, man.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of footage of kangaroos throwing hands. I've never encountered one up that close to where I've almost punched on with one, but yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of videos. But yeah, I'm definitely not brave enough to get that close and run the risk of either getting kicked or punched, or because I know they have massive claws, so and they like get up on their back tail and kick people, but they actually have pretty big claws apparently, and they'd fucking tear people to shreds.
Yeah, no, that's what it definitely seems like,
Yeah.
man. And then, like how often do you happen to see them?
Not as often as you'd think. I guess in like in more rural areas, like country towns and stuff, you'd obviously see them a lot more. I'm also see them like if I'm doing long drives and stuff
Okay.
on back roads and things. But yeah, it's not as much as you'd think. Like I think people make it out as they're literally on every corner and everywhere, but definitely not in amongst like cities and even like where I'm living. It's not like a major city, but yeah, you definitely don't see them as much as you think.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And with that being said, man, what's maybe your favorite performance so far in the cage?
Favorite, probably the most recent one. Yeah, for sure. Just in terms of how I felt as well, I just felt calm and relaxed. Like, um, I had some fun performances. My favorite fight that I've ever had was back when I was an amateur. Actually, um, it was my fifth fight. I went 4-0, and then my fifth fight was against a guy named Corey, and he was way bigger than me at the time because at the time I kind of walked around at low 70s, like 71, 72, and just fought at 70 just because I thought that was what you did. I didn't know anything about cutting weight or anything, and yeah, I fought this guy named Corey, and seemed as though he cut a lot of weight because he was twice the size when I fought him the next night. And yeah, ended up going. I got dropped in the first round, and then in the second I lost probably easily the first 2 rounds, but then came back in the third. Ended up going 5 rounds and arguably won the last 3, but ended up losing that one by split decision. But it was the funnest fight that I've had. But in terms of like best performance, definitely my most recent one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And with you getting such a sick twister and you're kind of on a win streak now, I mean, how many more big wins do you think it will take until maybe a bigger promotion kind of starts seeing you?
If I can get finishes, then it could be probably 2. I'd say. Like I think getting one more finish would probably put me in towards the top of the rankings where I could look at the title shot. Yeah, but realistically, probably at least 2 more. I think, especially if I'm getting finishes, like 2 to 3 more, and they'll be definitely looking at me.
Yeah.
Like if I get 2 more finishes, 2 more wins, I'll be 5-1 on a 5-win fight streak. So a 5-fight win streak. So definitely, I think they'll be looking at me.
Yeah, no, definitely. And with that being said, I mean, what's maybe some of your goals in MMA at the moment, and how would you like to maybe be remembered in
MMA? In like near future goals is obviously to work my way towards that eternal belt. But yeah, just keep looking at getting finishes and fighting these top guys. Long term, I know a lot of guys say, "Oh, I want to get to the UFC," but for me, it's like I want to have success there. I don't just want to get to the UFC. I don't want that to be my end goal. I want that to be like almost like the midpoint of my journey. I want to look to have a lot of success in the UFC. I'm not just looking to get there. That's why I want to fight the top guys here and get tested in Australia fighting these top guys so that when I get to the UFC, I know I'm ready. And yeah, have some success there. And how I want to be remembered, I guess, is just, don't know, like I know a lot of guys say like, oh, the best ever, but like it sounds kind of cliche. So I don't know. I think I just want to be remembered as someone that never gave up. Like I'm not genetically gifted or anything like that, but I'm willing to put in the work. So I guess I just want to be remembered as someone that was a hard worker and was willing to put in the hard yards to get where I want to get. Because I know it's a cliche saying, it's like hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, and I believe that's me to a T. Like like I said, I'm not genetically gifted in any way. I'm not super jacked or anything, but I'm willing to put in the work and do what it takes to get that win.
Yeah, no, and I definitely think that's an awesome way to try to want to be remembered, man. And with that being said, man, who do you think are some of the best Australian fighters that haven't made it to the UFC at the moment?
My teammate Harry Webb, for sure. He just took out the #1 pound for pound guy in Australia and New Zealand. Knocked him out in the first round. He's overall through amateur and pro, he's 11-0 with 10 finishes. So definitely him. The only other one that comes to mind is a guy that he just got signed to Contender Series, but yeah, look, yeah, definitely Harry Webb. He's the only one that really comes to mind. Like he's shining above everyone at the moment. Like he's the hottest prospect at the moment, and I think he's 1, maybe 2 at most wins away from getting signed.
Yeah, no, we're definitely looking forward to his progress for sure. And yeah, with that being said, man, this is one question I always like to ask everybody I bring on the show. I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I've been teaching for 6 years, training for 19 years, and I'm only 24 years old. So I just kind of love what I do. And with that being said, man, with all the different guys I have in my gym, what advice do you give to them to keep on coming into the gym and to keep on getting better and better every day?
Just consistency, man. Everyone has bad days, and even myself, there's plenty of days, especially in camp, when you're running your body into the ground. There's plenty of days where you're just like, I cannot be bothered going in, especially when you got other stuff going on outside of training. Like you have to work, obviously, you have to pay your bills and things like that. But that's what I tell everyone coming up is just consistency. It's like regardless of how you feel, you gotta just turn up. Obviously, injuries and things that like that are different, but you just got to do what you can. And even with injuries, it's like things like, say, if you've got a sore hand or a shoulder or something, like there's definitely ways you can work around it. And even just as little as coming into the gym just to watch and learn, it's consistency for me. And I guess I get that from my coach because that's something that he raves on a lot. about is just staying super consistent and just showing up.
Yeah, no, 100%. I definitely think consistency is key. And Luke, man, it's been awesome talking to you, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. With that being said, what's your final message out there for the fans watching this video?
Remember the name. I said it after the fight when I got that twister. I said, I felt a little disrespected. So remember the name because I'm looking to make some waves, not
Yeah.
only on the Australian scene, but once I get international as well.
Let's go. Yeah, we're looking forward to you keep making the waves. And again, man, thank you so much for taking the time for coming on and really appreciate it. And man, I'm super honored to be the first American interview with you, man. That's pretty sick. And we're excited to watch your growth, man. And more American guys are going to come around soon. I know it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, no problem. Again, thank you so much. And we'll be in touch.
For sure.